Here I am, Lord. I come to do your will. I am Sister Delphine of the Congregation of the Sisters of St. Anne. I am from Africa. I was born and raised Catholic. My parents were devoted and dedicated to the church. We went for Mass on Sundays, and sometimes during the week, it just depends. And we prayed together as a family. We prayed the rosary, even though sometimes we pray and we are sleeping, but we had to pray the rosary. I went to Catholic elementary school, and there I had the opportunity to meet religious sisters who would come around to talk about religious vocations. And so I remember each time they ask us, who among you will want to be like us? I'll stick up my finger, but I'll put it right back down so that they shouldn't notice. When I received my first Holy Communion, I was so excited. I remember asking my mom to stitch me a dress that looks like that of the Reverend Sisters with a veil, because I was fascinated with them, seeing the way they did their things, very dedicated, very happy. They were always very happy. And I felt really connected to them. And I think that's began the desire in me to consecrate myself, to be one of them. And so after First Holy Communion, my mom enrolled me into a group called the Cadet of Mary, which is a group in Cameroon where we learn about our Blessed Mother, her faith, her love, her obedience, and her various apparitions. I remember as a cadet, I'll have a side altar beside my bed. I'll pray every morning, kneel and pray every evening before going to sleep. And the cadet prayer, I think that also inspired my vocation, which I would really like to share the prayer with you. O Mary, my mother and model, I place all my desires in your outstretched hands, that you may receive and give them to your Son, Jesus. He will refuse you nothing. Help me to know and to do his will every moment of my life. You who watch over and care for the Holy Child will do the same for me, since my greatest longing is to be consecrated to you as a child of Mary Immaculate. O Mary most pure, let nothing come between you and me. In all your actions, you sought the glory of God. So let it be with me and with your powerful intercession that I am trying to put the cadet motto into practice, to Jesus through Mary. So that inspired me a lot, and I continue to go to church, member of the cadet, very active. And I remember when we used to have celebrating cadet feast days, coincidentally, I'll always be given a Bible verse, a Bible quotation that speaks about vocation. And the one I remember is Matthew 9:35-38. The harvest is rich, but the laborers are few. And so that continued, and I continued to nurture my faith, being very active in church. But when I went to secondary and high school, it was a public school, a whole different reality. I was being influenced by my peers. I didn't want to become a religious anymore. For us in our group, it was like religious life was for those who were socially misfit. And because I didn't want to identify as a social misfit, I said, no, religious life is no longer for me. So I began to admire the medical doctors. I remember how we studied a lot to have good grades so that we should be admitted into the state medical school. My side table, which used to be my altar, turned to be my bookshelf, so I kept all my books there. But again, during confirmation preparation, I remember I was a lector, and when I went to read one Sunday in church, what struck me in the first reading was, I have called you by name, you are mine. So I kept repeating that even when I went back home. I think it is at that point that the idea of becoming a religious resurfaced. I could see myself only singing songs about vocation, reciting, everything was all about vocation. Then the desire came back. I tried to push it aside, but I think it was stronger than I could. So I went for a vocation discernment week. Really didn't get anything out of that. I went again the second time, and I remember that I was so impressed with the Sisters of St. Anne, especially when they were sharing about their religious order. And what struck me was a Sister of St. Anne is that sister whose presence communicates joy. And the sisters who came to present about the congregation, they were so joyful, they were so happy, they were singing beautifully. And I really felt like my spirit was connecting with them. So at that moment, I said, no, I really want to be part of that joy that those sisters are experiencing so that I may be able to communicate that joy to others. So that's how I met them after their presentation, spoke with them, they invited me. I went, prayed about it, and I got like a confirmation during my prayer, which it says, "My daughter, says the Lord, do not worry, be not afraid, I have got you. My spirit is a mark of ownership on you. I have called you by name. You are mine." So after that, I met with the aspirant mistress of the Sisters of St. Anne. She invited me. I went over. In the year 2000, I began my formation. After 3 years of formation, my mom passed away, which for me was really devastating. But they made me stay for a retreat, which again, after retreat, it was like, again, I have called you by name. You are precious to me. I've carved you on the palms of my hand. So after that, I stayed on. I did my first profession in 2003, and I am in my 23rd year as a religious, as a Sister of St. Anne, and I am very, very happy. I have had challenging, interesting, fulfilling experiences that I don't regret any. I have lost nothing being a Sister of St. Anne, but I've rather gained everything. Even though I never wanted to be a missionary, here am I, a missionary, very happy to be God's presence among his people. And I would like to thank all that have helped me, that have journeyed with me till this time. Lord, you have called me, here I am. I said that on the day of my first profession, and I say it every day, and I'm happy to say it. Thank you all, and God bless you.